Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, taking a look at the AFC Championship today. You all know normally we focus on college football here at this channel, but we had to make an exception for the two NFL Conference Championship games. Two very historic and what should be very exciting Conference Championship games to be played on Sunday. And of course, we will be breaking down the Super Bowl here in about 2 weeks as we get closer to that time. But we just released our NFC title prediction on Wednesday. Now we're going to take a look at the AFC between the Buffalo Bills and the reigning Super Bowl champions in the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going to break down everything you need to know for this game. We're going to look at a little bit of history for both of these two teams, what happened when these two teams met earlier in the regular season, and then, of course, the offense, the defense, and who we have advancing to Super Bowl 55 to take on either the Packers or the Buccaneers. Our official prediction for that, again, came out on Wednesday. Go take a look at that video if you haven't already. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Bills first. Let's take a look at their history coming into this game. It has been an unbelievable season for the Bills Mafia, for Sean McDermott and this Bills squad. They're making their first AFC Championship appearance in 26 years. Their first AFC Championship appearance since 1994, where they actually played and beat the Chiefs, believe it or not. It's crazy how things come full circle like that. The Bills won that game, advanced to their fourth straight Super Bowl, where they lost their fourth straight Super Bowl, and they have not been back since. So this is a huge, huge game for the Bills. Getting to this point is a big deal anyways for a franchise that has really struggled from about 1995 to now, for about the past 25, 26 years. This is a huge deal, and it shows that Sean McDermott is the man up in Buffalo. He can get them a Super Bowl. The question is, can he do it now? You look at the Chiefs. They are hosting, not just being in, they're hosting their third straight AFC Championship game. 2 years ago, they fell to the Patriots. Last year, they hosted it, played the Titans, got the job done, and now here they are again, playing host to the Bills. These two teams met back in Week 6, which ironically was the same week where the Packers and the Buccaneers met each other. So the four teams that are playing in their championship games all met in Week 6, which is very interesting. But the Chiefs won that game 26-17 over Buffalo. They won that game by 9 over Buffalo. So relatively close for the most part. Weather conditions were not great for that game, and of course that was also in the midst of a weird COVID week within the NFL. But the Chiefs got the job done there. And we go into this game, guys, with a lot of questions, mostly from Kansas City's side. Will Patrick Mahomes play in the AFC Championship game? He was taken out of that divisional round victory over the Browns, was put into concussion protocol. He has not been fully cleared yet. As of this filming, has not been fully cleared yet, but most indicators and what we believe from our sources say that he is going to be playing on Sunday afternoon. It's going to be very important that he does. It's going to be this Kansas City offense versus this Buffalo defense. That, to me, guys, is the matchup in Kansas City on Sunday night. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Chiefs offense. Let's take a look at what Kansas City and Andy Reid bring to the table. And again, Mahomes is the big deal. You take him out and you got to start Chad Henne. The entire game plan changes, and that's a huge boost for this Bills team that's, again, trying to get back to the Super Bowl for the first time in 26 years. But we know with the Chiefs, with Mahomes under center, they are the most electric offense in the NFL. They are the most difficult offense to stop in the NFL. They only averaged 29.6 points per game this year, but Mahomes, guys, over 4,700 yards, 38 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions. Not going to win MVP, but certainly put up MVP caliber numbers. That was just all in the regular season. And the amount of receivers and pass catchers that he has, the amount of weapons that he has surrounding him is ridiculous. You've got Travis Kelce, a tight end that has caught 11 touchdowns and over 1,400 yards this year from a tight end. Not a wide receiver, a tight end. Kelce, the best tight end in the game, if you ask me. You've got Tyreek Hill. You've got Mecole Hardman. You've got Sammy Watkins, assuming he does play, assuming he returns from an injury. So many pass catchers and so many threats on this Chiefs offense, it's almost unfair. It's almost unfair, and that's why almost no one has any success in stopping this offense. The key numbers you want to look at, though, guys, is we know that. We know that Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks in the game right now. We know that the Chiefs want to air it out with Patrick Mahomes. They want to air it out with that core of pass catchers. Look at the run game, though. The run game has impressed me a lot from Kansas City this season. They're averaging 112.4 rushing yards per game, and they have a handful of backs that are capable of leading this offense too. You've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You have Darrell Williams. You've got Le'Veon Bell, of course, assuming that Bell and Helaire are going to be okay and ready to go for Sunday's matchup. We believe that they will be. You look at how well they've been playing recently, though. They had 123 rushing yards last week against the Browns. And another key number you want to look at here, too, is back in Week 6, the Chiefs had 245 rushing yards against the Bills. 245 rushing yards against the Bills the last time these two teams met earlier in the year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 161 of those rushing yards. So if I'm Andy Reid, I'm going to try to run it a little bit. Maybe we run first in this game, especially if Mahomes isn't 100%. Run first and see if we can exploit some weaknesses in that Bills defense. A Bills defense that struggled a little bit against the run last week against the Ravens, and we'll touch on that in a second. You look at the Bills. You look at their offense. You remember when everybody was criticizing Josh Allen and Bills Mafia was so disappointed in drafting Josh Allen and they thought they were going to fail with Josh Allen? Well, I'm sure they're eating their words now, and I'm sure their tune has changed because the Bills would not be here right now. The Bills would not have been the 2 seed in the AFC. They would have not be in the AFC Championship right now. They wouldn't have made the playoffs this year or last year if they did not have Josh Allen under center. This guy has proven all the doubters wrong and will be the quarterback of the future in Buffalo until someone says otherwise. This guy's ridiculous. Unreal. Over 4,500 yards this season, 37 touchdowns, just 10 interceptions, also sprinkling in a few rushing touchdowns in there as well. Had 206 yards and a touchdown last week against the Ravens, that 17-3 defensive battle against Baltimore. And ironically, when you look at Buffalo's stats compared to Kansas City's stats, they're averaging more points per game than the Chiefs. The Bills are averaging 31.3 points per game. So slightly better than Kansas City, if you want to say that. But we know deep down that's not the case. We know when you're looking at flashiness, when you're looking at the explosive capability, when you're looking at the rushing edge too, Buffalo doesn't hold that advantage. Buffalo averaging just 107.7 rushing yards per game. They've only eclipsed 100 rushing yards once in their last 4 games. They had 32 rushing yards last week against the Ravens. To beat the Chiefs, you have to play dang near perfect, and you've got to find some sort of balance. You rush for 32 yards against the Chiefs, you're not going to win. Josh Allen, to me, is going to have to win this game through the air. I don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball that effectively against the Chiefs. The thing is, Allen can win this game through the air. One of the best offseason additions and requirements from this past offseason for the Bills was Stephon Diggs. It wasn't just one of the best ones for Buffalo, it was one of the best ones in the entire NFL. Stephon Diggs comes into Buffalo and makes an immediate impact, guys. Is Josh Allen's number 1 wide receiver. They have unbelievable chemistry, especially for a quarterback wide receiver duo that hasn't played with each other before. Diggs, in the 2 playoff games so far for Buffalo against the Colts and the Ravens, has 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 16.7 yards per receptions. He is the primary receiver going into this playoff game. It's going to be interesting to see how Kansas City tries to find a way to shut him down, force Josh Allen to use his other receivers, his other pass catchers outside of Diggs at Arrowhead Stadium. So guys, again, you look at the numbers again, right off the top of your head, you're going to say the Chiefs own this offensive edge, and I will say that they do, but I don't think it's as big. I don't think the gap offensively is as big as people think. Josh Allen in Buffalo can hang with the Chiefs offensively. There's no doubt in my mind. You look at the defense going into this game, guys, and we'll look at Kansas City again first. The first key for them, obviously, is they've got to stop Stephon Diggs, and we talked about that when we talked about the Bills' offense. You have to find a way to slow down the number 1 wide receiver. If you can do that, you will force Josh Allen to get out of his comfort zone a little bit. Yes, we know he doesn't throw every single pass to Stephon Diggs. Yes, we know the Bills are going to try to sprinkle in the run game and try to rush for more than 32 yards in this one. They're going to do everything they can to remain balanced, and they know that they're going to try to take Diggs away. He's going to be covered very close. But stop Diggs if I'm Kansas City. That's going to be a huge key in this one, whether or not Josh Allen succeeds or whether or not he struggles, especially early on. You look at the Chiefs' numbers this year. You focus so much on their offense, their defense kind of gets overshadowed a little bit. They're only allowing 17 points per game. And against the Browns, against Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, guys like that, they allow just 308 yards. They allow just 17 points. They forced 2 turnovers, and they allowed just 112 rushing yards to the Browns. Again, the same Browns team that ran rampant against the Steelers in that wild card matchup. So that Chiefs defense played very well in the divisional matchup, their first playoff game of the year. Can they turn in another solid defensive performance against the Bills on Sunday? Buffalo. Look at their defense. McDermott has made it clear since day one he wants to have a stingy defense. He wants to have a stingy defense, and he's done just that. Did it last year. He's done it again this year. Buffalo in the regular season allowed just 13.5 points per game. So they were allowing less than 2 full touchdowns per game. That's pretty dang good. The concern for me for Buffalo is the fact they're allowing 156.5 rushing yards per game. 156.5 rushing yards per game. Their rushing defense is suspect. It's concerning. Again, they allowed 245 rushing yards to the Chiefs in that Week 6 matchup. And that's a key number for a lot of reasons. Obviously, it's just concerning, period. But first off, if Mahomes does not play, I think he will. I don't see any way how Mahomes does not play in the AFC title game with a Super Bowl spot on the line. But say he doesn't, or say he gets knocked out of this game similar to the way he did against the Browns. I can see Andy Reid trying to run a little bit more because they had great success the first time around, and try to take a little pressure off of Chad Henne. Making him run on 3rd and 14 to pick up the first down was not ideal for him in that divisional round against the Browns. That's the first thing. The second thing is, again, what happened last time very well could set up the play action for Kansas City. Buffalo struggled, again, to stop that run for the Chiefs. If they struggle to do that again, and they start to go all in on the run, Patrick Mahomes is going to beat you deep with Tyreek Hill. He's going to beat you across the middle with Travis Kelce. That's what makes this offense so unpredictable and so difficult to stop. So they've got to find a way, in a way, to try to make the Chiefs one-dimensional. And that's going to be by taking away the run, because you certainly aren't going to take away the pass. You can slow down Patrick Mahomes, but you can't stop him fully. And the Bills, of course, have a group of guys that are going to do their best to slow down Patrick Mahomes. Their secondary, to me, is one of the top units in the NFL. Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Josh Norman. Those 4 players combined for 7 of the 15 interceptions that Buffalo had in the regular season. Taron Johnson had that 101-yard pick 6 last week against the Ravens. Ultimately sealed the deal late in that third quarter, put the Buffalo ahead 17-3. And that's the final score of that game, that defensive slugfest. The Bills have to play better than they did against the Ravens to beat the Chiefs, but if their defense plays the way they did against the Ravens, against the Chiefs, they absolutely have a chance. Because even though they allowed 150 rushing yards to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they still held them to 3 points. If I'm Sean McDermott, I say give Kansas City all the yards they want. If we hold them to field goals, if we can force a few turnovers, I don't care if they put up 500 yards. It's a matter of who scores the points. And Buffalo's got to find a way to prevent that, very similar to the way they did against the Ravens. So a lot of stuff to cover here, guys. There's a lot of huge points in this game, a lot of X factors in this game for the Chiefs, for the Bills. Again, the Bills trying to get back to their first Super Bowl since 1994, where they fell to the Cowboys. The Chiefs trying to get to their second straight Super Bowl, the reigning Super Bowl champions. There's one last thing that I want to mention for both of these teams before we share our official prediction, who's going to win the AFC and advance to Super Bowl 55. One very, very interesting number. If you really break down the film and you break down the numbers and you've watched the Bills and the Chiefs play all year long, you've noticed 2 things from each side. Josh Allen plays very, very well against the pressure. When teams send the blitz on Josh Allen, he usually makes them pay for it. The Chiefs, they love to blitz. They love to blitz. Let me break that down a little bit deeper for you. Josh Allen has not just been one of the best. He has been statistically the best quarterback in the NFL against the blitz. He has thrown 19 touchdowns when he's been blitzed. The Chiefs ranked 7th in the NFL when it came to blitzing. They blitzed on 35.2% of their defensive plays. 35.2% of the time, the Chiefs sent pressure. They sent the blitz. So you're looking at one of the best quarterbacks against pressure versus one of the team that defensively pressures the most. What's going to give? What is going to give? Does Kansas City continue to send pressure against Josh Allen and risk getting burned? Or do they rush their typical four? Do they rush their typical four, drop back into coverage, and see if their four can't create enough pressure enough as it is? That's my $1 million question. Because there's no doubt in my mind, Josh Allen, who also is dual threat. He has that dual threat capability. Maybe not as much as like a Lamar Jackson, but he can pick up the first down when needed. He can score within the red zone with his legs. When under pressure, does he take off and do that? Does he make you pay through the air if you send the blitz? Or is Kansas City going to be able to do enough on their own, back off the pressure, and only send it sparingly, well below their 35.2% on the year? That's the question I want to see. That's the big stat and the big plays that I want to see in this game, in the AFC title game. What happens here? What is the game plan from Buffalo offensively? What is the game plan for the Chiefs defensively in stopping Josh Allen? Because again, I do not think the Bills will be able to run effectively against the Chiefs. They will be able to on occasion. They break a few big ones out here and there, but this is a game that if they want to get to the Super Bowl, the Bills have to win through the air behind the arm of Josh Allen. And to do so, he's going to need time, he's going to need protection, and his receivers are going to have to get separation. So a lot of key points here, guys. Again, that is the number that I'm just baffled me the most. Allen, the best in the NFL against the blitz. The Chiefs, one of the biggest teams to blitz all year long. I'm really excited to watch that matchup. But what is going to happen at Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday afternoon? By that point, we will know who is in the Super Bowl from the NFC. It will be Aaron Rodgers and the Packers or Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. This is huge. You know, this is going to be whoever wins this game in the AFC is going to go up against a very quality opponent out of the NFC. And again, guys, I look at this Mahomes injury report and this Mahomes health status. That's the key in this game too. You know, this is Friday. Again, as of now, there hasn't been any confirmation, but we do believe he's going to play. If he does, I think the Chiefs are set. If he doesn't, things are going to be a little bit more tricky. The Chiefs have built themselves up a decent lead, not huge, decent lead in that divisional round against the Browns. They only need to have a few plays from Chad Henne. Could Chad Henne win it for a full 60 minutes? I don't think he can. But I do think Mahomes is going to play. This game is at Arrowhead Stadium. Whether it's sold out or whether it's 20% capacity, Arrowhead Stadium is still one of the toughest places to play in the entire NFL. And when I look at these two teams combined, the Chiefs to me still own the edge offensively. They certainly own the home field advantage. They own the special teams advantage with Harrison Butker, who's one of the best kickers in the league, guys. He's 5 for 5 this year on kicks of 50 yards or more. So if it comes down to special teams, I'm siding with the Chiefs. And the defensive edge could go either way. I might slightly lean towards Kansas City in that one as well. Again, this is going to be close. This is going to be very similar to that Week 6 matchup between the Chiefs and the Bills, where the Kansas City only won by 9. I expect to see another close game. Very well could be one possession. But it is going to be Kansas City that advances to their second straight Super Bowl. Their second straight Super Bowl led by Andy Reid, led by Patrick Mahomes. The question will be, will they be able to take down one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time? Because again, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, you're going to see one of the up-and-coming stars in the NFL and Patrick Mahomes going up against one of the best to ever play the game. And that guy is going to make for a fantastic Super Bowl matchup here in just about 2 weeks. And of course, we'll have you covered for that game every step of the way. But the Chiefs taking care of business in the AFC and what should be a thriller against a Buffalo Bills team that's going to be a pain in the AFC for many years to come. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at The Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. And also make sure to check out everything down in the description below. We have so much exclusive content for you over on our website, thegridironexpert.com, our brand new GE merchandise, our Patreon account for exclusive content year-round. I can promise you, you don't want to miss anything down there, so go check it out. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.